Texas versus Texas A&M reaction. Man, I told you so. I told you guys so. We're going to break down this whole entire game. I'm George Wrighster, former NFL player, college football player, college football analyst for CW. If you tune in to the Syracuse game tomorrow, then you're going to get a chance to see your boy on the screen with Mike Yam and Michael Bumpus. So make sure that y'all tune in to that. And also, thank you for being here and being one of us. All right. So Texas beats Texas A&M. First thing, the first thing that we got to talk about, the Texas propaganda over the next week saying that they should 100% be in the college football playoff is going to be on max. You heard it at the end of the telecast, and it is not going anywhere. And especially if the chaos that I believe is going to ensue tomorrow happens. Now, I told you guys we were in for a chaotic weekend, that we were going to get upsets because we have not had upsets yet this season. We have not had a weekend where 3 teams in the top 10 lose, 5 teams in the top 15, 8 in the top 25 lose. We haven't had it yet. Oh, it is coming. And we already got the first one. So Texas beats Texas A&M 27-17. And I am not surprised even in the least bit. I picked this game this week. I picked Texas to win, and largely because there has been all of this talk about Texas A&M this season. Oh, and you guys make sure that you guys like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend about the show, because this is the truth-telling portion of college football. A lot of people don't want to hear it. They want to be signed up to hear just all the good things that people are going to tell them. But here is the truth, and I appreciate you guys watching. All right, so let's get into this game. So Texas to the college football playoff. We're going to get to that. But Texas A&M, people have been caping for them to be the number one team in the nation all year. No, absolutely not. Because and they were paper Aggies because of what we have seen. That Notre Dame win, legit win. Like, I'm not going to knock that win in any way, shape, form, or fashion. However, Texas A&M has not even played a team that is currently in the top 7 or 8 of the SEC. Now, for SEC people that'll tell you this is the greatest conference in the world and all this stuff, okay, cool. Let's say that you're right. If you're right, and Texas has not had to play any of the top teams yet, and that were the case for another team, you guys would be highly skeptical of them, right? Highly skeptical, and rightfully so. You would be rightfully skeptical about them because Texas has only played a combination of Missouri, who has no signature wins, no top 25 wins. Yes, they're a good defense, but they're hurt at quarterback. LSU, season a disaster. They benched their quarterback. They only beat Western Kentucky 13-10. Come on now. Kentucky, Florida, Auburn, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Arkansas. This is who they've played. They have not played Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Tennessee. The first time that they played a team that is currently ranked in the SEC, hell, even in the top 8 of the 7 or 8 in the SEC, they lost. I knew it was coming. And a lot of it is because this Texas A&M team, even though that they came in ranked in the 15th or 16th in total defense in the country, this Texas A&M team, they give up too many big plays. We've seen it against South Carolina. We saw it against Arkansas. We've seen it time and time again. There is a recipe for beating Texas A&M. They will give up big plays. They did it today. They gave up so many explosives in the run game, in the pass game. People running scot-free, wide open. But you cannot win a national championship of doing what Texas A&M has done. The South Carolina game exposed them to the rest of the country. But I've been seeing this the entire time. Now, that does not mean, and also, too, Marcell Reed. Marcell Reed, good player. Good college football player. However, he is not an NFL quarterback at this point in time. If you get pressure on Marcell Reed, you get him rattled at all, he will throw you the football. He's not accurate enough. And he can make, like, physically, it does his arm work. Yes, he can make the throws, but it's the accuracy on the move, fundamentals, all of these things are not up to par in terms of a quarterback that can go out there and just beat you. If you can keep his legs in check, similar to what I said about Washington and Damon Williams. Washington, their situation, granted, Texas A&M is better than Washington right now, but is the exact same situation. You have a dynamic quarterback. If he gets loose with his legs, all hell's going to break loose, and you are going to lose. But if you can keep him in the pocket, put him under pressure, he will absolutely, positively throw you the football. It's just the truth. And you guys, make sure that you guys hop in the chat because I will get to your stuff as well. All right. So now let's talk about Texas, because the Texas to the SEC, to the college football playoff, that talk is going to be hot and heavy over the next few days. It is not even a consideration. Whether it's going to be, so they are now 9-3, 6-2 in the SEC. They lost to Texas A&M. I lost to Ohio State. I keep hearing, oh my God, well, if they scheduled somebody else instead of Texas, Ohio State, they would be better off. No, college football fans, I believe this with my entire heart and core, that us, the college football fans, the people who love college football with all our heart, we would not rather see our team play against a directional school, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, Tech State, rather than playing against Ohio State. Yes, some of those games you're going to lose. But everybody would say, oh, man, well, see, look, they have beaten Vanderbilt, who may be a college football playoff team. They beat Oklahoma. The Oklahoma win, John Mateer was just back. I'm giving that with a grain of salt, but it is still a win. You still lost to Florida. There still have to be some criteria to getting in. And people will, the losses count. Yes, they do. We're in the business of winning football games. And yes, Texas, they are trending in a better direction because they got beat up by Georgia. They beat Arkansas, but Arkansas still scored 37 points on them. Then you beat Texas A&M. It is a very good season for Texas. Very good season. Arch Manning, after being just dog talked about like he was an absolute bum and he sucked and everything else, he has gotten better. But here is the truth about Arch Manning. And I have 2 quarterback sons, so I am very, very cautious with how I talk about other quarterbacks and other people's kids especially. Because I want somebody to make sure that when they talking about them Wrighster kids, that you give them that we're honest and we're not hot take machining all over the place. When I watch Arch Manning, I'm looking at a quarterback who is nowhere near baked yet. He has to stay in school for at least 1 more year, maybe 2. He has physical tools. You saw in the game on the touchdown run. Highly athletic. The most athletic Manning. The arm works. The processing is the issue. When players for Texas are not scot-free, wide-ass open, he does struggle. He misses some open reads, places that he should go with the football. And when pressure gets on him, like we saw today, taking intentional groundings when he should have thrown the ball away earlier. But this Texas team, is a legitimate team. My biggest issue with Texas is their defense. I told you guys Texas A&M um came into the game 15th in total defense. We're looking at Texas all the way down at 39th. That is not where we want to be. Not even close to where we want to be. And then when we get to a percentage like third down percentage on defense, Texas A&M was really good. Statistically, the number one team in the nation. But they had not played a team with a competent quarterback and a team that had a season going in the right direction. Major issue. Texas came in that same stat category, 37th in the country. This Texas defense is nowhere as good as it was last year. But when I look at the top 25, right? When I look at the top 25, I'll put up the playoff rankings now. That way, the way we can get a feel for it. So when I put up this top 25, how do I feel about Texas versus Texas 16? Do I believe Texas beats Michigan? I believe we got a real good game there. Texas beats Vanderbilt. Yes, I do believe that they're a better team. Vanderbilt's defense is just god awful. They came back in that game, almost won it, but no. Texas Utah. Utah will run the hell out of the football, but Utah's defense can be run on, even by Texas. Miami. Same question. Is Carson Beck going to turn the ball over? I would probably, that's a toss-up game as well. BYU. I actually like BYU to beat Texas because BYU plays good defense. They just don't leave people running wide open. Alabama, Texas. I honestly would probably take Texas in that football game. So that means that we got to have a conversation about them being in the college football playoff. And just the fact that they did beat Notre Dame, who's number 9 in the country. But that Florida loss is weighing you down like an anchor. And outside of that, and we saw what happened with Oklahoma, because Oklahoma, and this is why Oklahoma cannot win a national championship this year. And why Texas would probably beat Oklahoma again. Oklahoma's offense is not good enough. Their defense is outstanding, one of the best in the country. Brent Venables is doing a fantastic job, but Oklahoma's offense, it is similar to Georgia Tech. It is pretty much all Haynes King. And it's going to depend on his level of accuracy. Mateer has not been accurate enough. This offense gets in a box. It can't score at times. And you want me to believe that this is a national championship team in Oklahoma? Absolutely not. No way, no how, not believing it, not even for a single solitary second, fam. Not even for a single solitary second will you get me to believe that. So that's where we are. All right. But then the question is, and I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, so you guys make sure that you guys like, subscribe, tell a friend about the show, is how do you feel about this Texas team in general? Like, do you believe in Arch Manning? Because that is the key. I mean, he is literally the key to this Texas team. Can Arch Manning will play great football, and is this Texas defense good enough to win a national championship? I say 100% unequivocally no. And Sark did his job. He was supposed to get up there and lobby for his team. After the game, he did his thing. 100% right. But let's break down this game a little bit. Let's start out. So this game was 0-0 at the end of the first quarter, 10-3 at the end of the at the end of half. And you look at what Texas was able to do coming out of half. That's what Sark does. He's able to draw and scheme stuff up, and they looked on film and they saw, oh my gosh, when we do this formation and do this, Texas A&M will drop people. We've seen it all season long. They will give up explosive plays because they will drop people. And if you give up explosive plays, you have an opportunity to lose football games. As soon as you run up against teams that can do damage. And that's exactly what Texas did. So you ended up with Marcell Reed having a very pedestrian day, very pedestrian day, with 20 for 32, 180 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And then Arch below 50% for 179 yards and a touchdown. But the positive part for Texas, they found a running game when they needed it the most. Wisner, 19 carries for 155, 8 yards a pop. Arch, 7.6 yards a pop, 7 for 53. C.J. Baxter, 6 for 10. That don't really count, but they ran 35 times for 218 yards and 2 touchdowns. That, my friends, is winning football. So, and I told you, I do not believe Texas can beat any of the other teams outside in the top 6. I don't believe they can beat Oregon. Don't believe they can beat Texas Tech, Georgia, Texas A&M, Indiana, or Ohio State. So, we're getting ready to have this conversation. And I want you guys to pay attention to this and how it's going to go, okay? Here's exactly what is going to happen, because here is where people get lost and confused in the conversation. So Texas, so let's say Vanderbilt finishes and they beat Tennessee, okay, who's ranked number 19. So the committee is already saying that Vanderbilt is better than Texas. And then Vanderbilt would go beat a number 19 team. And then we're getting ready to say Texas should jump them because they beat an overrated Texas A&M team? How about no? I'm not hearing that. I'm not listening to that one single second. So then people will tell you, oh, well then kick out Utah, Miami, and BYU. That still ain't going to get you in the playoffs, Texas. Well, how about if Bama loses the Iron Bowl? So we just want to just like ignore the fact that Miami would have beaten Notre Dame as well, the same way Texas A&M did. And we would want to hold Miami's losses to SMU and to Louisville, who was ranked at the time, and Louisville ended up with a bunch of injuries. So they were ranked for a couple of weeks. They lost their quarterback, got hurt, Miller Moss, Isaac Brown, the running back who was leading the nation in yards per carry, was lost as well. So we're just going to say, oh, they should jump Miami if they beat number 22 Pitt next week? No, this is exactly why I said Texas, yeah, we can have a brief conversation about you, but we can't put you in the college football playoff. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Texas. That does not mean you didn't have a good season. That doesn't mean that you are a bum, you're overrated, nothing like that, because I don't subscribe to that sort of talk. But let's just keep it a bean around here. Let's keep it 100. Let me see. Texas can only win big games at home. Playing away in or out of state is a whole different story. And somebody said Texas has beat 3 top 9 teams. Are we sure about that? We sure about that? Because I do not subscribe. They beat Texas A&M. They beat Notre Dame. Vanderbilt is not a top 9 team. They're not. They're ranked number 14. And all of this, when they're ranked stuff, I don't pay, we can't pay attention to that. It is like saying who started in pole position in a race. And we're going to try to act like just because you passed them early, even though that they finished at the end of the race, it doesn't matter. No, we're not paying no attention to that, because preseason rankings, even though I do preseason rankings on this show, because it is for engagement. We like to talk about it. We're trying to gauge where teams are. Nothing about preseason rankings tells us anything. And I'm going to prove it. I am absolutely going to prove it to you here. Um, Let me pull up these. Let's pull up the preseason rankings so we can have these conversations, because this is the thing that people really don't want to talk about and be honest about. So I'm gonna pull up the preseason rankings here. Screen share. Boop. Okay, so here's what we got. We got preseason rankings here. Let's make this bigger. So we got preseason rankings here. Texas won. Texas won. Texas is Texas the best team in the country? No, no, nobody believes that they're the best team in the country right now. Penn State 2, season fell apart. Coach fired. Clemson number 4. So are we gonna count wins against Penn State and Clemson as like if we're gonna discount a win for Oregon against Penn State, we can't then turn around and act like a win against LSU, who was preseason number 9, is a legitimate win, is a big time win. Florida came into preseason number 15. SMU, the same team that y'all want to discount Miami for, was ranked in the preseason. My exact point. That's the point. Is that preseason rankings, Kansas State was 17. Look at how many teams right now are unranked from the preseason top 25. 1, 2 in Penn State 1, Clemson 2, LSU 3. We got South Carolina 4, Florida 5, SMU 6, Kansas State 7, Iowa State 8, Boise State 9. And we're going to sit here and act like preseason rankings matter? Even think about what week 3 looked like in the preseason. Week 3, Penn State still up there. Texas at 7 at 1-1. Illinois all the way up to 9. Florida State at number 10. What are we doing? What are we freaking doing? And we're going to sit South Florida at 18. Auburn at 24. Missouri at 25. Preseason rankings and trying to act like where they were ranked when they played matters that much. It doesn't. It is fool's gold until you get about halfway, 2/3 of the way through the season. It is 100% fool's gold. So think about in the preseason, we were told Arch Manning, greatest things in sliced bread, number 1 pick. Does anybody believe that still at this point? And mind you, this is no Arch slander, because I like the kid. I think that he has a bright future if he stays in school, because it's just the processing for him. Game's moving too fast right now. It's legitimate. Talent is there. But let's go back to this Texas team for a minute, because this Texas defense is not good enough to win a national championship. I stand on that with everything in me. They're just not. They give up too many big plays. This the pass defense, which was the best in the country last year, is not there. But let's talk about Sark, because there's been a lot of talk about whether Sark is going to come back. And you guys make sure that you guys like, subscribe, get notifications. This is one of YouTube's fastest growing college football stations. I am out of town right now. I am getting ready for my show tomorrow on CW, where we got to talk college football. Tomorrow, the game that we got in the pregame is Boston College, Syracuse. So you guys make sure you guys tune in, say what's up on X at George Wrighster, at On the Freight Show, whatever. I'll see it. So yeah, because I love interacting with you guys. So LaFau had a hell of a game today, 11 total tackles. But I believe the difference in the game was, and mind you, Texas only recorded one sack against, only one sack they recorded against Texas A&M. But you know what? But you know what they did? They put Marcell Reed under 100% pressure. 100% pressure. But now the question is, who do you believe that Texas A&M is better than? SEC fans, if y'all are in the chat, I want you to keep it real. Who do you believe that they're better than? That's the question that I want you to answer, and answer it honestly, because it's hard to put your conference affiliation down. Would you trust Texas A&M? Would you trust them to beat Ohio State and the number one defense in the country? No, you wouldn't, if you're being honest. Would you trust them to beat Indiana, who runs the ball at a high level, highly efficient, and and has one of the best run defenses and pass defenses in the country? No, if we're being honest. Do you trust them against Georgia? No. If they can't beat Texas, they damn sure ain't beating Georgia. And you know who you really shouldn't trust them against? The team in their own state, Texas Tech. Texas Tech is the most slept-on team in college football. Sorry, Texas and Texas A&M fans, that is the most slept-on team in college football. Their offense can be slowed, but their defense with Rodriguez kid is insane. This defense is well coached. They are disciplined. They are physical. They are a team to watch. Just like they did in softball, where they brought in all these transfers, they got the right ones, ended up in the World Series and in the championship. Texas A&M, depending on how the styles make up, could be there. Do you trust Texas A&M to beat Oregon? I would not. How about Ole Miss? That's where they feel like they belong, somewhere near Ole Miss. Do you trust them against Oklahoma? In a rock fight game? I trust that Brent Venables would get 3. If Texas got 3 interceptions off of Marcell Reed, Oklahoma might get 5. Do you trust Texas A&M against Notre Dame? That feels interesting. Do you trust Texas A&M against Alabama? I don't think you do either. I think you're like, I don't know about that game. But SEC homers, they for sure would trust them versus BYU and Miami and Utah and Michigan and USC. That would be a game I would like to see. USC versus Texas A&M. I would actually take USC in that football game, as long as they can stop the run at a decent level. All right, let's see what the chat is talking about now. The Longhorns have beaten more top 10 teams this season than anyone else anywhere. They beat 2 top 10 teams, current top 10 teams right now. What are we talking about? Somebody, Texas is going to the playoffs. Okay, let's talk about Texas's path to the playoff. Since people are talking about Texas to the playoff, let's talk about their path to the playoff. So tomorrow, actually, first of all, let me update y'all. Arizona State, 16-7. Big ups to Noah Fafita. It's 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and they're doing a good job there. All right, so let's talk about Texas's path to the playoffs. I think that they would have to have, number one, they would have to have Oregon lose to Washington. Hold up, let me pull up this screen so we can have this. Okay. So I believe that they would have to have Oregon lose to Washington. That's the first thing. Then they would have to have Ohio State beat Michigan. Because if Michigan beats Ohio State, how are we going to sit up here and act like that a win against Texas A&M, who hasn't played anybody in the SEC until Texas, and then they lost, is better than a Michigan team whose losses, let's peep this, who are Michigan's losses to? USC and Oklahoma. So we're going to sit here and act like Michigan who has no bad losses and beat the number one team in the nation is better? That Texas A&M should be in front of them? I'm sorry, that Texas should be in front of Michigan? No. So here's the path. Oregon gets blown out by Washington, but I don't even think that that's even possible. But okay, cool. And then you're going to have Ohio State beat Michigan, which is likely. You would need Texas Tech to continue to win. You would need Pitt to beat Miami, which I believe is 100% in the realm of possibility. Then here is what you need here. You need LSU to beat Oklahoma. That is an absolute must. And then you got to have Tennessee beat Vanderbilt. Absolute must, because there is no way that you should jump Vanderbilt without that happening. And then you need Auburn to get beat by Alabama. I'm sorry, Alabama to get beat by Auburn, because you can't sit here and act like, so Alabama's got an albatross loss too to Florida State. That is just as bad as the Florida loss. So that cancels out. But Alabama has actually beaten good teams, well, teams that are currently ranked. Beat Georgia, top 5 team right now. They beat Vandy, who's ranked number 14 right now. They beat Tennessee, who's ranked number 19. So if Alabama loses, I promise you, I still am not putting them in Texas in front of them. The only way you even consider that is if you're just sitting there saying, Alabama's trending in the wrong direction right now. That's about all you get. And then Notre Dame gets shocked by Stanford. That's the only way. This is the thing. This is a numbers game. The gate is narrow for Texas to get in. Who can you kick out? That means that you got to start kicking out your beloved SEC teams. I didn't even talk about Utah. I didn't even talk about BYU. I didn't even talk about Miami. Well, sorry, I did talk about Miami and Pitt, and all of these are ranked games. So you can't just have them just jumping somebody up way that high just because they beat the number 3 team. We can't do that. We can't do it. So yeah. So that is absolute foolishness. Absolute foolishness. And yeah, so I just don't see a path. Despite people wanting to make there be a path, and do you know why the talk about there being a path is there? The talk about there being a path for Texas to the to the college football playoff is there because Texas's brand is so big. Their brand is big. They bring eyeballs, and people are going to watch shows when you start debating, oh my gosh, is Texas, should Texas get in? Okay, sure. Tell me how. Tell me how. You got to jump SEC. You got to jump your beloved SEC teams to get them in. Because if Miami does not end up in the ACC championship, that's 2 spots gone. And don't talk to me about the G5, G6, and the ACC this year. They shouldn't even be in the playoff. Charity, and these are the rules. Think about it. College football is not the only sport that does this. The NFL, we've had teams that were 7-9. The 7-9 Seahawks hosted, I think it was a 10-win Saints team in Seattle, and Beastquake happened. Yes. There are prerequisites to get in, just like there are prerequisites to get into college. There are prerequisites to get into Juilliard. There are prerequisites to get in elite company. So don't ask me to lower my standards or feel sorry. Do not ask me to feel sorry for the team at 11-12. I don't. In the 2-team playoff, we were arguing about number 3 and 4, how messed up it was, and blah, blah, blah. This team could beat this team. They didn't. Okay, that makes sense. 4-team playoff, 100% makes sense. Then we jump to a 12-team playoff, and now we got people talking about, oh my gosh, most is there. Oh my gosh, there's 16. I can't believe Alabama got left out last year, and Ole Miss with bad losses got left out. So what? As my grandmother would say, tough titty. We can't just be just giving people playoff spots because they got a big name. Go out and win. And this is why college football is the best sport that there is right now. The passion surrounding it, the excitement, the everything, and why this is probably the best college football season that we have ever had. There is so much parity. So much parity. And I'm trying to decide if I'm trying to decide about like my thoughts and how I'm going to attack this proposal for a 2014 playoff. That is the entire top 25 minus 1. Take that idea, ball it up, and throw it in the trash. Josh Pate talked about something that I've talked about for a while. We're trying to fix the playoff. The damn calendar is the biggest problem. What are we doing? We got coaches in the middle of leaving and everything else while the season is still going on. And I'm not talking about G6 coaches. I'm talking about everybody else. This is preposterous. All right. Now, I do want to get to some of these coaching rumors, though. So, from my understanding, John Summerall will be the Florida head coach. That's what I've heard. And you guys make sure that you guys like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend about the show. I believe John Summerall will be the head coach at Florida. And this is going to make LSU administration look foolish. He is the guy you should be trying to hire as your head coach instead of trying to throw $100 million at Lane Kiffin. John Summerall understands Louisiana football. He understands the kids there. He's recruited, coached well at Tulane. Let him drive an hour and a half down to Baton Rouge and be your head coach. That's the answer. LSU's going to regret it if they do get Lane Kiffin. Or if they don't get it, they really going to regret him. They really going to regret it. Especially, and then you have, and then there's the Chesney thing. Because from my understanding, Chesney is high on Penn State's list. And we have not heard his name called about which job he's going to take. And UCLA wants him bad too. So the question is, but then there is the Kalen DeBoer talk. Kalen DeBoer to Penn State talk. And there are people who do not believe that that is true. I 100% believe that there is truth to that. Oh, I just looked into the comments and somebody said, put the comments on the screen, dude. Okay, I don't know how to do that yet, okay? If anybody can tell me, and I will try, I will effort that before the next stream. That would actually be very cool to get the comments coming up. I got to figure out how to do it, okay? Okay, I still sound quiet. All right, I will turn myself up. Am I loud enough for you guys now? Okay. Am I turned up enough for you now? Okay, so somebody said that Texas will move into the top 10 of the college football playoff rankings. No. And I'll go back to this game in a minute for people who have, just joined. Waukee also said Texas A&M coach said they had a very tough schedule. Outside of Notre Dame, where? Ain't nothing tough about that schedule. It is just that you're playing in the SEC and you're like, oh, yeah, this was tough. Man, stop it. All right, so I do. And so the question is, why would Kalen DeBoer leave Alabama to go to, why would Kalen DeBoer leave Alabama to go to Penn State? I believe that the only reason he would do that because the heat is getting too hot in Tuscaloosa. I believe that he regrets leaving Washington. He had a good situation there. Administration loved him. The fans loved him. They thought he was the second coming of Don James. But he's gotten down to Tuscaloosa. And I believe that Bama and Bama fans down there are so like the Paul Feinbaum crowd, who is crucial. Like those people make college football great. It is probably very difficult after losses for his family to live there because he's following Saban and the expectation is insane. When Saban came in, you had Shula, all that stuff. Expectations for Alabama were low. If Saban had came in and won 2 national championships over 17 years, they still would have loved him. But the fact that he won 5, like that's insane. And Kalen DeBoer, following him is going to be tough. And think about this. His job got even harder because of NIL and the transfer portal. Because Texas Tech can get kids now. Because some of your kids might go to Ole Miss now. So your roster is going to be nowhere near as stacked. So Kalen DeBoer going to Alabama faced significantly different opposition and hurdles than Nick Saban had. Because Alabama's brand and name carried all the weight and so much weight in college football. Obviously, Ohio State's the number one brand in college football. But it ain't too many higher than Alabama, if we're being honest. So let's not sit up here and act. And he would go, if he left to go to Penn State, that is still one of the biggest brands in college football, one of the biggest fan bases in college football. They have so many living alumni. They pack out 111,000 in the stadium. They are fanatics, but they are not crazies. They are not down south crazies. And when they say the SEC, it just means more. It 100% means more at the SEC, Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, and a few other places. Texas means more. Well, they're in the SEC, but yeah, Oklahoma, it means more. Like there are some places that Michigan, it just means more. So there are places outside of the SEC where it means more. So that's why he would leave, and he would get criticized. Oh, you ran to the Big Ten because it was easier than the SEC. The SEC was too hard for him. That's going to be the talking point. You can bet anything that's going to be the conversation. But he's still a very good football coach. Let's not sit here and pretend like he is not, because he absolutely is a fantastic coach. Yeah, never leave where you're happy, man. Grass ain't always greener. College football fans need to realize what some coaches have realized is that leaving a place that you are having success, that you are having, that is overrated in this day and age. Because if the administration will support you, if they give you NIL resources, if you can build something special there, why are we leaving? And that's exactly why Dan Lanning is like, yo, I found my spot in Eugene. I'm not leaving. Because he understands. He's got the administration. He's got Nike. He's got everybody by the balls as long as he keeps winning. If he took the Alabama job, then what? Oh, well, you go 10-2, 3 years in a row. We don't know about this guy. He didn't win a national championship in 4 years. Fire his ass. that is tough living for you and your family. That's why I totally believe that Kalen DeBoer regrets, 100% regrets taking the Alabama job. I do. And then one of his top assistants just took the just took the Oregon State as Shepherd, just took the Oregon State head coaching job. And the chat is right. That is the exact same situation at LSU if Lane Kiffin goes there. 100%. 100%. Um yeah, so now I want to go back to this for anybody who just joined into the chat and they just tuned in. This is Texas A&M reaction. I want to go back to where we started in case you missed the beginning. I started it out saying, I told you so. I have been ever since Booger McFarland and what's his name? Joey Galloway got up there talking about, oh, the metrics are saying that Texas A&M is the best. They're the number one team in the country. They're the true number one team. Who have they played and who have they beaten? The Notre Dame win 100% counts. Like, we're not even getting ready to discount that. Notre Dame is a very good football team. Until today, when they played Texas, who was ranked 5th in the SEC, they hadn't even played a team that's currently ranked above 8th. They give up big plays. Their quarterback in Marcell Reed, who is a good player, but if you get pressure on him, he will turn into a turnover machine like he did at the end of the game. If he is forced to sit back there and play quarterback, and mind you, I have 2 quarterback sons, so this is not a disparagement of him. Right now, Marcell Reed is not an NFL quarterback. He needs to stay in school and cook and get better at making reads because he's a hell of an athlete. And his athleticism is relied upon too much for him getting in a flow. He misses too many throws. And then I'm not sure if he's 100% sure what he's looking at all the time. Now, could that change in another year of cooking? Because he's better this year than he was last year. So I also expect him to be better next year. So this is no diss to Marcell Reed. It's just the truth. And this is why you come listening to one of the fastest growing college football channels on YouTube, on X, everywhere else. You guys, if you're watching on X, go over to YouTube, give me a like, thumbs up, and share. Because sharing is caring. And this is how we continue to grow. Trying to be at we're already at 25,000 subs. Thanks to you guys. We are killing it this year. Trying to get to 50. The road to 50 is on. See how quick we can get there. And I will keep bringing it all the time. So, Texas A&M, this defense, even though Mike Elko is a good defensive coach, they are number one in the country in terms of third down conversions on defense. They are an explosive offense. The issue with this defense is, and I saw it against, let me pull up the exact team. Yeah, so I saw it against Notre Dame. They gave up explosive plays against Notre Dame. Hell, they gave up explosive plays against Arkansas, who Notre Dame drugged through the mud. They gave up explosive plays to Florida. They gave up explosive plays to South Carolina. And we thought that they weren't going to give up explosive plays to Texas. They had people running scot-free wide open multiple times in the game. And they gave up explosives in the run game to a team that's had trouble running the football all year. This is who Texas A&M is. We got to keep it a buck. It's not that they're bad. They 100% deserve to be in the college football playoff. But truthfully, if they play Texas 10 times, Texas probably wins 8 out of these 10 games. Schedule roulette matters. Indiana won the Big Ten schedule roulette last year. Texas A&M won the SEC schedule roulette this year with the teams that they had to play. Just happens for teams sometimes. But now let's talk about but let's also, because this Texas A&M defense statistically has been good. Like, we can't sit here and act like they have not. And this offense, 15th in total offense. But if we're going to try to discount what Ohio State has done, because they've won the schedule roulette in the Big Ten as well, if we're going to try to discount what Indiana is, because they intentionally schedule week in the preseason 3 free wins, gross. But it's also similar to an SEC schedule for teams, 4 teams who don't play a Power 4 team in a non-conference. And SEC fans are going to get a chance to see what life is like in the big city when they play non-conference games starting next year. I feel sorry for how they are going to take that, because it is going to be a lot of being and moaning. You know that. They are going to hate life. They're going to be trying to schedule this, everything. Yeah, the dudes were down 30 to South Carolina at the crib. Yeah. And Ole Miss played 4 4 non-conference games against Power 4 teams. It's just reality. Oh, and tomorrow, I 100% believe Auburn is going to beat Alabama. I believe. Now, I don't believe it as strongly as I did when Oklahoma was playing Alabama. I was like, even though I don't bet on college football, I would have bet my damn house that Alabama was going to lose that football game. I'm getting close to there with this Auburn. Now, Auburn's defense is awful against the pass. They're one of the worst pass defenses in college football. But them against the run is hellacious. And what can't Alabama do? Run the football. They are one of the worst in total rush yards in the entire country. And so if Auburn can stop, and they give up a lot of explosive plays too, if they can stop Alabama with a light box running the football and get pressure on Ty Simpson, because Ty Simpson has not been as good in the second half of the season as he was in the beginning of the season. And that's partially because they can't run the damn football. But if they're able to do that and Deuce Knight is able to get loose with his legs, oh, hell. They are going to have a problem, because Alabama has not played a quarterback that can do what Deuce Knight can do. And also, yes, he's a freshman, inexperienced, but sometimes you are too young and dumb and inexperienced to realize the gravity of the situation. So this could be one of them Johnny Manziel type moments where he's just out there playing, and he figures it out. Somebody said if Alabama loses Kalen DeBoer to Penn State, they might go even if they win, because him going after a win. But the problem is they then will be going to the college football playoff, and that would get sticky. All right, now let's talk about this Texas team. Can anybody explain to me how Texas gets in the college football playoff? Please explain to me, for all the people who are trying to talk about this Texas team, how they get into the college football playoff. Because when I watch this Texas team, I see a good football team. Nothing about them is elite. Their defense is not elite. Their offense is not elite. They have trouble running the football, despite running all over Texas A&M today for 218 yards, and Wisner and Arch Manning having a field day running for 8 yards carry and 7 yards carry against them. Despite that, Texas has had major trouble running the football. And we're not getting ready to sit here and act like that was going to change significantly against other teams, because it's not. It's not. They didn't just magically figure it out. And here's the truth about Arch Manning. Very talented. He's not ready. Even in the game today, the big plays that he hit. Now, granted, the one throw to the tight end across the seam, across on the little crosser when he had some pressure on him. Oh, that was absolute. That's what Arch Manning does. He flashes at times, and you're just like, golly. Oh, the one to Jack Injuries. you're like, yo, that is a throw. The issue is you watch the film and you're like, why is he taking a sack instead of throwing a check down or throwing the under right here? Why is he like he misses too much right now? But it is the mark of a young player. But that does not mean that he is not highly talented because he is. But he is nowhere ready for the NFL right now. If you put Arch Manning in the NFL in this draft, he will get chewed up and spit out. His granddaddy knows it, both his uncles know it, and his daddy knows it. So maybe in a year, that could change. Maybe 2 years, that changes. But he ain't ready yet. But yeah, we already gave Wisner his credit. But Jack injuries absolutely showed up today big. It was he big time player. I like the way he runs. He's one of the better tight ends in college football. I love it. I believe that Jack Injuries, who's a junior, is going to have a very productive NFL career. I know he didn't have the most catches this year. I think he's only got like 25 catches or 25 catches on the season. But yeah. And then Ryan Wingo had a good catch today on that 29-yard touchdown. I like it. This Texas team, it's a cute football team. They are not a team that can compete for a national championship right now. They're nowhere close to that. They aren't. But everybody will be caping for them to everybody is going to be caping for them to get into the college football playoff. But I will go through again. How does Texas get in? How did they get in? How? Look at this. Who are they going to jump? Where's that? Yeah. Who are they going to jump? You're going to have them jump. If Michigan beats Ohio State, should they be in front of them too? If Vanderbilt beats Tennessee, they should jump Vanderbilt? What are we doing? If Alabama beats Auburn, they should jump Alabama? How? That Florida loss is like an anchor. Well, Alabama lost to Florida State. That's an anchor too. That's why they sitting where they are right now. If they had another loss, they would be out of contention too. I'm not even gonna get into BYU, Miami, and Utah. How you gonna jump them? It just don't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. They are close, but no cigar. And that is okay, people. Like, we have to normalize that not making the college football playoff in a year when you don't deserve it just because you won a big game, the last game of the season. It is what it is. It is a total body of work. And that's if the committee does this, they need to be fired. And this is why I've said that people that cover college football should be on the committee. Like, people who aren't beat writers, they aren't sitting athletic directors, because sitting athletic directors, they're watching their own football team. They don't have time. And I know that they're away there, but they don't have time to do this all year round. They don't. This is why it doesn't start till the second week in November that you start getting rankings. This is why. They don't have time to watch them. But people who have studied recruiting, who studied these teams, who know all of it, you can tell what's what. You can tell it's easy work. But you guys, though, I'll make sure you guys like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend. I appreciate everything that you guys do and how you guys have made this channel one of the top channels in all of college football. All right. So tomorrow, reaction to the Oregon game will 100% be happening. And the week 14 reaction will probably be on Sunday because got to fly back. So, but I might end up doing it in the car again. So we'll see. On the ride to the airport. Yeah. Oh, but the last thing I want to talk about is this 2014 playoff. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. 24 teams in the playoff. What are we doing, fam? What are we doing? Stop it. Stop it. We don't need that many teams in the playoff. We don't. It's absurd. And we haven't even proven that it can work. Well, that 12 is the wrong answer. I've always thought that 8 or 16 was the right answer because I don't like buys. And then the time off, they need to compress the schedule and get the season over with January 1st at the Rose Bowl. But nobody wants to listen to common sense right now. All right. Yeah. So we got all this. We will be back tomorrow. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your energy. Thank you for being one of us on this show. Peace out.